Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cleveland Sports Bros podcast. I'm Matt alongside my brother Nick. Nick, how you doing today?
Ready to talk about Cleveland sports and the Browns and Guardians.
Yeah, we'll definitely update everyone on the Browns. I'm not as much looking forward to that, but I'm definitely looking forward to talking about the Guardians as they head to their final regular season series and, march towards the playoffs. So we're looking forward to talking about that especially, but let's get the Browns out of the way first. Another disappointing loss to the New York Giants. Nick, what'd you see in that game?
Well, it looks like they were going to have some momentum as they kicked off the ball to the New York Giants, and on the return, the Browns special teams were able to knock the ball out of their return man and recover it. And Deshaun, on the very first play, Deshaun Watson threw a 24-yard touchdown pass to Amari Cooper in the corner of the end zone, and it was fairly covered.
Yeah, and you know, depending on what type of Browns fan you were either thinking, all right, they got the win, that's it, game over, or you're thinking somehow they're gonna blow this. And uh I think I was both actually at some point. I immediately thought the game was over. And then shortly after that was feeling otherwise. And New York bounced back pretty quickly. And they have that really good receiver Neighbors in particular who played well and just outplayed the Browns in general. And unfortunately, the Browns are just dealing with a bunch of injuries now, even more across the offensive line. Njoku's still hurt. We obviously know Chubb's hurt. Um, that certainly isn't helping, but it's got to be next man up, and they're going to have to bounce back against the Raiders this week.
Yeah, in any professional sport, you don't want to make excuses. Uh, we know the O line's banged up, and that's not good. But we've also still seen a high level of penalties from the offense. And I know Deshaun has been still hanging onto the ball way too long. I actually look at some stats today, and he's like ranked fifth highest QB for uh holding on to the ball. He needs to make quick decisions whether he's gonna get rid of the ball downfield or take off with his legs. And if he does make a decision to move on his own, he's gotta uh take a slide so he doesn't take a big hit because he got hit 17 times, 8 career high sacks.
Yeah, I mean, part of that too is I don't know how great the protection is, and again, that goes back to some injuries on the O line. So, um, it's tough to say who's to blame. Obviously, you'd like to think that he can get it out faster, but at the same time, like you just said, how under pressure he was. Did Teller was getting hurt, and did anyone else from the O line actually get added to the injury list? Or I'm trying to think.
Jedrick Wells, it was his first game
All
back
right,
and it was early in the game.
yeah,
But also I want to add Watson, I I think he tries too hard to make something out of nothing. And he may have had that brilliant ability in Houston. I don't think he has that anymore. Not saying he's too old, but uh you just if the underneath look is there, take it. You have speedy receivers in Judy and Cooper. And once Njoku comes back, that will be a huge upgrade. And sometimes you got to take the underneath look and let your playmakers make plays.
we'll see. It's sometimes people in this league get figured out pretty quickly. Teams are really good at making those adjustments. We've seen that from year in and year out. It looks like guys have good years, and then teams seem to figure them out. So it's tough. It's going to be on him and this coaching staff and team, everybody, to make it work together. Because starting off 1-2, and one of the things that upsets me the most is that, Cincinnati is really struggling, Baltimore struggling, and Pittsburgh's 3-0. So aside from Pittsburgh, who they're obviously well coached and they have some good things going for them, they're not putting up a ton of numbers offensively or anything like that. So I don't want to say that they're not going to make the playoffs or anything, Pittsburgh that is, but it just seems like the Browns are blowing opportunities, and they're gonna have to dig out of this 1-2 hole, and they got 3 straight road games, which I don't care who you are, and then in the NFL, that's not gonna be easy. So let's move to a more positive topic. The Cleveland Guardians, they head towards their final week or final series of the regular season against the Houston Astros. Did they clinch? I think they did. They're for sure a playoff team. We know the Guardians at worst are going to be the 2 seed in the American League. They still have an outside chance of getting the 1 seed ahead of the New York Yankees, but that isn't all that likely. Either way, they're going to have a bye and head straight to the ALDS. So let's talk briefly about this final series of the regular season, and then we'll talk some playoffs.
Yeah, so real quickly, I want to make a note on how the Guardians can potentially get the top seed. The Yankees have dropped 2 straight to the Orioles, who have also clinched. The Orioles will be part of the wild card, and but I was listening to the game last night. It was the bottom of the ninth, and Judge turned a 6-run deficit into a 3-run deficit on 1 home run. So you can never count them out. But back to the Guardians, Stephen Kwan made his return, and on the very second pitch he saw, he smacked it out of the yard, gave the Guardians a 1-0 lead, and Cleveland played a bullpen game, and their bullpen was fabulous, had a perfect game through 6 full innings, and Ramirez was big with. They didn't get the perfect game, but Ramirez was big with double, triple, homer, and Cleveland was able to win the game 5-2. Clase and 47th save to top 1995 Jose Mesa for club save leads.
Yeah, and that home run was huge. I mean, he just absolutely blasted it out of here.
Upper deck.
Did it actually hit? I couldn't tell. I know
Yeah.
I heard it on the broadcast, but I couldn't tell if it maybe hit the ledge or if it actually made it to the upper deck. It looked like the fans right below caught. I don't know. It's tough but either way, I mean, it was huge. And he's having a very quiet near 40-40 season. A lot of that is Shohei Ohtani and him just being amazing, but Jose is having one of the great seasons in MLB history.
He needs 2 more homers and 2 more doubles to have a 40-40-40 to beat, I heard, just the second player ever if he could accomplish that, but that's a lot to do in 3 days. But the first matchup, so it's interesting. Cleveland will face the Houston Astros, so it's kind of like they'll get to feel them out before they potentially face them. Joey Cantillo, who's been the young rookie fabulous lately, will go for the Guardians. He was meant to go last night, but vote pushed him back just to, I don't know, give some bullpen arms some work, and they made it work with the 5-2 win.
Yeah, great win. Great to beat, have the 2-game sweep, I guess, of a team that isn't playoff bound. So taking care of business, and real quick, we'll get more in depth with the playoffs in a later episode. But Nick, how do you feel about this team going in the playoffs?
I'm really excited. Cleveland has probably their weakest part is the starting rotation. Bieber was gone since his second start, but there's no doubt with the bullpen being the best in baseball, up and down. And lately, remember we maybe about a month now, we've had Kyle Manzardo back up. He's really been lighting it up with homers, doubles, RBIs. Lane Thomas has gotten hot, the player we acquired from Washington at the deadline. Um, Jose, of course, you can always rely on him. I think they've got a good chance to at least win the ALDS.
Yeah, and I'm really glad they're avoiding a 3-game series in the wild card round because just about anything can happen, especially in a 3-game series. But I definitely like their chances. Their bats seem to be getting hotter. It's great to have Quan back. Um, I think their pitching is solid. Obviously, the starting rotation isn't quite as good as the bullpen, but hey, um, we know in the playoffs that the bullpen can play a big role early if guys do get in trouble early. But um, definitely got to be optimistic. It doesn't mean they're for sure going to win everything or even anything, but I like their chances, and we're looking forward to bringing you more as we approach the playoffs, and as they're ready to get started in that soon.
Yeah, and one final point. So they begin this 3-game series with Houston uh tomorrow through Saturday Sunday, excuse me. And while we do not know who they will face in the ALDS, that is officially scheduled for October 5th. Time is TBD. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. So we're looking forward to bringing you more, and we'll bring a Browns recap too, of course, after this coming game. So thank you everyone for listening. This has been the Cleveland Sports Bros podcast.
After back spasms on the IL,